So this is my 7.3 diesel, 1979. I took it to Baja with my trailer, and we did have some adventures. Starting with breaking the frame in 2 different locations. One I've already posted if you haven't seen it, where I broke the frame right in half, both sides above the rear wheel. You know, some people say, well, oh, what bad luck. And I was pretty stressed about it all. But in the end, it turned out to be the right place and the right time to get that fixed, because I don't think it could have got fixed in Canada or the US legally. So there, no problem. So then the next issue that broke was the front frame of my truck. And I'm going to contribute that a little bit to the Sky off-road reverse shackle, because the way it's set up is there's constant pressure being put on the bracket that mounts it to the front of the frame, and it's only a C channel, and it might even be weaker at the front because Ford never designed it to have that on there. So as much as their bracketing looks good, it isn't if you're going to be full-time off-roading. So more on that. Now, I get it. I've been very fortunate because all this happened in Mexico, so labor's cheap. And the other thing is, they jump right on it. There is no, I can't do it. I can't fix it because it's illegal. I can't fix it because. No, they just get on it and get it done and do it. They have a can-do attitude. They are great people, very helpful. Now, the other thing is, too, is I probably take a priority just because I'm going to pay a little bit more money, or they'll charge me a bit more than they would someone local. So that's another plus, is that I got all this done quickly, and it's been well repaired as far as I can tell. So when I first stopped, I thought it was the steering, and I never noticed, and I don't know if the bumper had turned up yet, but I noticed that the steering wheel was off. Instead of holding it straight to go straight down the road, the steering wheel had to be turned about 90 degrees to keep the truck running straight. So after I drove it for 50 kilometers, got out, I noticed that the bumper was flipped up, like right up against, which is kind of now not that out of alignment, but you can see this was up against the grill all the way across here. And it probably bent a few things. So that's when I started looking a little more closely and discovered that the frame was tore. And eventually when I got into the town, you'll see in the video, in the town, my problem got worse in that I could not turn because this was getting caught, had dipped down enough that got caught on the wheel if I tried turning. That's when I run into trouble in town, because in the town of Mule, like many Baja towns, the streets are narrow, some are one way. Even under the best day, I could not make any of those turns with the truck and trailer attached. So I had to contact the police, as you'll see, to help guide me and see what I could do, because now I was on the road. Can't turn. So what was my choices? So I went and got the police. They got in hold of a person who used to be the chief of police, who now had an RV park. He came along. He could speak some pretty good English, and he helped me to unhitch and tow my trailer to a good location. And then we just moved the truck off the road. Then the following day, that's when Hugo and his apprentice came and started working on this on the street, so that we told them that this is removable, which then allowed me to turn. And I drove the truck another 7 kilometers to get it to their shop. And they started working on it immediately. Okay. Gracias. Truck is stuck there. I'm getting towed by a Toyota. Okay. You pull ahead a little, I'll pull out the stoppers. Okay. Okay. Sorry.
Hello.
It's a rough station. We're moving.
Okay, you gotta keep sync, but it's okay.
Yeah. Actually, it looks like it's been happening slowly. So the split is right here. But that looks old. So the frame, see how that's the frame piece. This is part of the Skylift, Sky Manufacturing reverse shackle. This beam goes across to the other side. And, you know, obviously over time, it has been ripping the frame apart. So hopefully they can unbolt this and maybe remove the bumper. And bring this piece back down and weld it and do some kind of reinforcement maybe. But you can see how the bumper has been shoved up, and this is why I couldn't drive anymore, which probably is just as well, because it's likely about to fall apart completely. So same deal here. It looks like it started to crack and then started more recently to tear. Perhaps. It looked that way more so on the other side. Yeah, you could, this looks fresh up here. This looks like it's been slowly cracking. So this is the extension. Hopefully that helps. What a mess. So they should be able to bring this down, just do a bunch of welding, even weld it to this. It should be fixable. Again. This is the pivot point at the back, or it's attached to the frame. And it's supposed to be solidly mounted here. Sometimes videoing when it's darker is better. So basically what, you know, the frame cracked in here. So he has welded, they used to come along to pull the frame back up. He welded down here, which would be attaching the frame back to this, the mounting bracket for the cab. And then he welded a plate down here on going perpendicular, like off, and see how that one is, but he put one on the back side. You can kind of see it here. And then in doing so, that allowed him to put two of these gussets in place attaching to the frame. And this part of the frame is a C channel and not a box channel. So this is a great idea, great design, other than if you're really using the truck, the problem then becomes that every time you hit bumps, the force is pushed onto here and eventually it splits the frame. So it's not the perfect setup that way. It's not reinforced enough to take, you know, off-roading. It's okay for those who buy this truck, dress it up, and just use it as a street vehicle. put the high jack under that to straighten that back out because it got bent when the tire, it met the tire and it bent it.